Hey guys, this is Mac again. Today I just wanted to post a follow-up video to my loading port modification videos that I did earlier. As you know, when you're shooting shotgun and 3-gun, shotgun reloads are a very important part in your stage time. So I took the Mossberg 930 turkey model shotgun that I set up for 3-gun and modified pretty extensively the loading port in order to be able to more quickly load by the drop and deuces method or the twins loading method. Now this also helps when you're loading by traditional weak hand or strong hand, single shell at a time reloading. However, I've recently made the switch to quad loading, and this prompted me to once again need to address the loading port. So as you probably already know, I actually am shooting a 930 JM Pro now. I was able to get this from StrongSideTactical.com, and the JM Pro actually comes with an open loading port. However, if you want to drop quads, there's a good chance that you need to address the loading port a little bit more to customize it more for you. So after doing some research and actually sort of refining my method for modifying the loading port, I actually came out with a much better result, both cosmetically and functionally. And now I'm able to drop quads into the shotgun pretty quickly, 8 shells, pretty much always less than 5 seconds, which is really helpful. So this is just sort of an overview of how to get the optimal setup in your shotgun for 3-gun, no matter what brand of shotgun you're using. There are a lot of new shotguns on the market nowadays that are coming customized from the factory because they're geared toward 3-gun shooters. However, you can always fine-tune each shotgun that you have to make sure you get the best performance out of it. So let's just go over this JM Pro, the way I've got it set up, and talk about how you can get the best performance out of your shotgun. First of all, let's talk about oversized parts. So an oversized safety is important because it's something that you're going to manipulate. The gun is almost always, without fail, on safety when you pick it up, and you've got to engage the safety, run your course of fire, and then leave the gun in a safe condition. So the quicker you can do that, the better, and an oversized safety helps. The JM Pro comes with this. Also an oversized bolt handle. You're going to be doing manipulations of the bolt handle probably on almost every stage. So being able to rack this bolt really quickly is very important. Some shotguns nowadays actually come with an oversized bolt release, which is this button right here. The JM Pro does not. Some of the newer ones do, and there are aftermarket parts that you can add on here. Now the reason why I haven't is because that is a pretty technical thing to do. You have to drill and tap the bolt release, and I'm actually pretty adept at using this one, so it's not a part of the shotgun that I'm going to touch. So to get really good reloads on your tactical shotgun, you're going to want to address the loading port. And that usually means opening up the loading port and probably also welding the lifter. Let's start with the lifter. First off, most shotguns come with a forked lifter. That's with a U-shaped indention in the middle, and that's to aid in reloading, actually. The shell fits into the U-shaped indention. When you're talking about reloading fast, it's actually not good to have that because they're pretty prone to catching your thumb and chewing it up, and you're going to end up injured. Everybody who's ever reloaded a shotgun for a match knows that. So almost all people are going to go and weld the end of the lifter. Now, best place to do that, in my opinion, is Jeff Cochran at C-rums. I just recently sent my lifter to him, and he did a fabulous job getting this thing. It actually looks factory. Everything matches up nicely, it's smooth, and it makes reloading this shotgun a lot easier. So I would highly suggest him if you need some work done on your lifter. Also, you're going to want to make sure that loading port's opened up. Now, I've learned some things since I did my first shotgun, and so I've refined my method for opening up the loading port when I did it on the JM Pro. First off, I again started with hand files. I think it's really important that you take your time and start with hand files. I think it's much more exact. You're not taking as much metal off each time as you would with a drill or a Dremel. So I didn't want to start with a Dremel at all. I started with hand files. Usually the large coarse square one, and back and forth across the receiver to get everything even on both sides. Also keep in mind some shotguns have serial numbers close to the loading ports. Make sure you don't get anywhere near the serial number. After I'd got the pretty rough shape that I wanted with the hand files, then I went back with the Dremel with a sanding wheel, 120 grit sanding wheel. to sort of get the contour and the final shape that I wanted, and to get rid of the sharp edges and bevel it correctly. So with dropping quads, you want sort of a V shape, and you want the end towards the handguard where the follower is. You want it to sort of flatten out so that your hand can sort of sweep across the loading port. So that's very easily accomplished with a Dremel with a sanding wheel, as long as you don't take off too much metal. Now here's what I changed. Next I went back with 400 and 600 grit sandpaper to get rid of all the sharp lines and all the grooves and the nicks that were taken by the coarse metal files. It's going to leave some scratches in your receiver, and you want to smooth those out and make it look professional. So I did that with 400 and 600 grit sandpaper to get everything smooth. And then the final step was I went back with my Dremel with a polishing wheel, a little cloth polishing wheel with some flits. And it really made this thing shiny, and it really looks factory to me. And I think it really turned out really nicely. So like I said, I learned a few things since I did my first shotgun, and this one I think turned out much, much better. Next, you may or may not need to modify the back part of your handguard here. Some shotguns like Benelli's actually already have a pretty nice low profile handguard here, and primarily you only need to shave this down if you're twin loading or quad loading, because as you're driving the shells in and you sort of try to sweep away from the receiver there, if your hand hits the back of this handguard here, it can slow you down or make you fumble the shells. So I've actually left mine alone so far because it doesn't really bother me, and it's not a big deal breaker when it comes to dropping the quads. Now you may notice here, I have something called a match saver on the handguard of my shotgun here. And this is for emergency reloads when you run the shotgun dry. And it's a really, really quick way to get one more shot into your shotgun if you need one more shot for a stage, or even if you need to go back to more traditional reloads. You can get one in the shotgun, get it back closed, and then start reloading the bottom again. Much, much quicker than trying to load it by hand from the belt. Now when it comes to the magazine extension tube, this is the most important thing in setting up a 3-gun shotgun. You're going to need at minimum an 8-shot, probably 9-shot capacity to shoot 3-gun. So getting a good extension, usually by Nordic or Chode or somebody, on your shotgun is going to be a must. Now this JM Pro from the factory came with a Nordic tube and came with 10-shot capacity because it's 24-inch barrel shotgun. Now I've actually taken that a little bit further by adding a 2-shot roulette tactical end cap for a 12-shot capacity. And the reason why I went with that is because most matches will allow you to load after the buzzer, but you usually have to start with 8 in the tube before the stage starts. So go ahead and getting 12 in the shotgun when you start the stage can a lot of times get you through an entire stage without having to do multiple reloads. And shooting continuously is really important without having to stop and calculate different things about stages and reloads and shots. So I think the big extension tube is definitely an advantage, and that's what I'm going with here. You got to make sure that your spring inside there is tuned for that appropriately, and it's long enough. So make sure you trim your spring to the right length depending on the length of your extension tube. The other thing is chokes. You're going to need multiple chokes, usually modified, improved, light modified. Those are the 3 that I usually go to a match with. I'm using Briley chokes, the extended versions that I can change out by hand. So most shotguns come with interchangeable chokes, but you may want to look into some in the aftermarket just so you have a wide variety of chokes for different stages when you go to a match. So that's how I have my shotgun set up now. Primarily the big change was a little bit better job modifying the loading port. I took my time and made sure that everything is working great and really looks good. So just a little update on my 3-gun shotgun and how I've got it pretty much set up now for competition, and some general guidelines on taking your shotgun and getting it optimally set up for 3-gun. I've got this thing exactly how I want it now for competition and for dropping quads. I'm actually using these TACCOM 8-up quad shell holders now, and I'm dropping these deuces strong hand. I used to reload with my weak hand. Now I'm dropping them with my strong hand, and really a lot easier for me. So hopefully this is helpful for you if you're wanting to set up your shotgun for 3-gun. Once again, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please click that like button for me. And as always, please subscribe to my channel if you hadn't. I usually upload videos like this one about once a week. So once again, this is Mac. Hope you enjoyed it. Be safe, and I'll see you next time.